Hello and good morning, students. Today we all are going to learn the poem Aunt Jennifer's Tigers. Aunt Jennifer's Tigers. This poem is composed by Adrian Rich. Adrian Rich. She was known to write the poems to describe the condition of human. As in this poem, she is pointing out the criteria, or we can say the domination of the male society. Male society, they made the victim to the females. In the era of 1950s, there was a male domination at too much. So Aunt Jennifer is just pointing out the women's condition in 1950s. So we can start now. Aunt Jennifer's tigers pranced across a screen. Aunt Jennifer's tigers, they were jumping on a screen. She was embroidering a screen or a panel, or we can say a tapestry. And the Aunt Jennifer's tigers, they were of bright topaz color. They were yellow and they were shining, as well as they were the habitat denizens of the world of green. They were the habitat of the green world, green forest. They did not fear the man beneath the tree, and they did not have any fear of the man of the society, because they were dominating the world of green, and they were moving their pace. They move in sleek, chivalric and certainty. They were confident. So we can say here that this stanza sets the picture of Aunt Jennifer's dream. This is the important one. This is about the Aunt Jennifer's dream world. What she wants to. She wants to. It is represented by the tigers. Her dreams are represented by the tigers on her tapestry that she was embroidering. It was, the dreams were, or the world was represented with the help of tigers. The tigers were prancing, they jumped about the bride, and they were unafraid in their domination in the green world, as the male are unafraid in the society. They don't fear the man. In the tapestry, there was some people sitting there, and the tigers were so brave that they were not fearing of the man, and they were moving in the way as they were the hero of the society, the leader, the dominator. And they were so confident. These are the qualities of the tigers. They were confident, they were sure, they were brave. These are the qualities, and they are what they are. They were so confident about their personality, about their identification, about their domination. And tigers, they know what they want, just like the male, as the male know what they want in the society. The tigers that Jennifer owns have energy. The tigers who were embroidered by the Jennifer, they have energy. They are free to prance. They were jumping, they were free to jump and run across the screen, because they were dominating the world in which they were living. In the same way, male have the domination on the society. The environment the tiger enjoys is explained here in detail. The environment is the world of green. They were fearless. They were chivalric, they were certain. That means they were confident, they were sure. These are the qualities of tigers. They were dominated. The tigers are the bright like topaz. Topaz is a yellow stone here. So they were bright just like the topaz. And they were the habitat of green world. They were forest. That means they were dominating. They were ruling the world where they were living. That's the thinking. Next one is Aunt Jennifer's tigers. Aunt Jennifer's fingers fluttering through her wool. Aunt Jennifer is explaining here when they were embroidering on the wool, they were working on the wool, her fingers were fluttering. And find even ivory needles. This is the tool by which he was embroidering. Sometimes she finds that it was hard to pull the ivory needles because the massive weight of uncle's wedding band. She was wearing the symbol, wedding band. This is the symbol, it's a ring. It is the symbol of marital status. Sits heavily upon the Aunt Jennifer's hand. Sits heavily. It means the Aunt Jennifer has to perform the responsibility of marital status, married life, and she was performing those all. That's why she was embroidering this one. But what was the reason her fingers were fluttering? Let's see. This stanza explains about who Aunt Jennifer. Aunt Jennifer is describing here. She is described as she was working on a piece of wool. She is creating a panel where the tigers were jumping freely. Her fingers become fluttered because she was creating a beautiful image of free tigers. But remember, for what she was wearing, the question remains the fluttering of the fingers. Why? Because all the qualities Aunt Jennifer possesses, they were different from tigers. Tigers were free and she wants some freedom. Tigers were brave, but Aunt Jennifer was the victim of male domination. Aunt Jennifer was of submissive nature. She did not have courage, just like the tigers. That's why her fingers were fluttering. However, creating those tigers and expressing those feelings is difficult because she was wearing a wedding band which had a lot of responsibilities and she could not remove that. That was sitting heavily on her hand. This gives the feeling that Aunt Jennifer has had a confining and oppressive marriage. That means she was not happy with the marriage. She wanted the same recognition. She wanted the same freedom as tigers had. Or we can say the same recognition just like the male have in the society. That's why this expression of freedom is really too difficult for her. And because the expression was difficult, that's why her fingers were fluttering on the wool. Because she was not confident. She did not have the freedom just like the tigers. And she was creating the character which is against to her own character. The next one is when Aunt is dead. When Aunt is dead, her terrified hands will lie, still ringed. Adrian Rich is just making a comment that when ladies will get the same recognition. So Aunt is the symbol of lady society, female society here in this poem. She is pointing out that when Aunt is dead, her terrified hands will have the ring. And which is the symbol that she is still tortured by her master. And the master is the husband of Aunt. Means we can say the uncle. But what about the tigers? Tigers which she has created, they will be jumping. How? Proudly, unafraid, without any problem. They will not have anything except the same image as they have. They were proud, they were unafraid, they were fearless. So in these four lines, Aunt Jennifer symbolizes Elder Nature's making comment that even in the death when Aunt Jennifer is died, she doesn't win. Because she was wearing the ring. And ring, this is the symbolize. This is the symbol of the weight that she has to bear. Either she is dead or alive, doesn't matter. But in the male dominated society, she has to bear all the torture. Usually we think that death, even it is a tragic thing, but this is a liberator also. That we can get the liberty when we are dead. But actually here we see that Aunt Jennifer loses her all identity and thus in the way mentioned only as aunt at the end. Means the female are not going to get their identity even if they die. They will be the victim of the male domination. Here the irony is that the hands that create those immortal tigers, they are mortal. The last two lines states that Aunt Jennifer was too late. She tries to express herself so that she could overcome the oppressions. But she only knew how to do it through masculine image. She knew that she is just putting an image of masculine because she wanted the same freedom just like the masculine images the tigers had. That's why she had noted down the tigers which she has created, they will be jumping without any fear, with proper proud, even she is passed away. It means Aunt Jennifer has created all the tigers which were completely against of her own character, and Adrenrich has just penned down here to write the things that what a female wants in her life. She wanted the freedom just like the male one. She wanted the same expression, same recognition as the male has in the society. But she is the victim of male domination. That was the only reason that the ladies are not going to get the image just like the male has. In this way, we can say now, this project is the fate of all women who are living in subservices of male dominated society, where they have lost their identity even by the time they die. The end projects the fate of all women living in subservience. Now we can consider, that's why I have noted down twice, that they are not going to get the benefit. This is the main theme of the poem. The aunt is not going to get the freedom. Now we can discuss some poetic devices which are used in this poem. First one, imagery. Main images is here Aunt Jennifer, as she is a fear-stricken. She is subjugated wife, and second one is magnificent tigers are also there, which she created. The tigers, they are images of precious substances like topaz, ivory, gold of wedding band. These are the symbols, imagery which he has used. Metaphor, the poet here makes a comparison of yellow strips of tigers with the precious stone topaz. Hyperbole, the poet here exaggerates the weight of her husband's wedding ring, just only to point out how she was dominated. Because she was performing all the duties of the married life. That's why she was performing with the domination and she was dominated. Contrast to make the differences. The main contrasts are between nervous Aunt Jennifer. Aunt Jennifer was nervous and her confident tigers. Both are opposite. Another contrast is here between yellow, strong and green colors. And prancing with confidence and fluttering. Means these are the symbols that prancing, they were confident, free, fluttering, she was not free. This is the contrast between Aunt Jennifer and tigers. Paradox. Here a trembling and mastered where woman creates free and confident creature in her artistic antlers. Even she was trembling, but still she was making a confident and free creature. So fluttering fingers produce that something has certainty, confidence. This is the paradox. The idea is just contradicting another idea. Tone. The tone appears to be positive and cheerful in this poem when poet is describing tigers. The tone becomes sad sometimes when even creepy at the time when she described the life of Aunt Jennifer. Repetition, the word prance is repeated to emphasize pride and freedom of the tigers. Where rings, ring, it is about the wedding band. Some alliterations is there, which is the only to repetition of consonant sound at the start of nearby words, like fingers fluttering, prancing proud, chivalric certainty, weight of wedding band. So this is alliteration when the sound of consonant is repeated. Visual imagery. This is bright topaz denizens and world of green. In the same way, irony. It is ironical that Aunt Jennifer's creation, the tiger will continue to pace, prance freely. Even Aunt herself will remain terrified. Even after death, ringed by ordeals, torture, she is tortured because she has to perform the duties. She was controlled by her married life. Symbol. Wedding band is the symbol. Wedding band. Symbol is an operation, is an unhappy marriage. Its weight refers to the burden of gender expectations. Ringed means encircled. She was trapped because she has lost the individuality and freedom. Aunt Jennifer. She is a typical victim of failed male operation and is an unhappy marriage life. She was living an unhappy married life. She suffers with the losing of individuality, dignity, personal freedom, and she becomes dependent and fearful and frail. So Aunt Jennifer is the symbol of these qualities. Tigers are symbolizing about the untamed free spirit. Here they stand about the contrast and their creator's personality. The use of colors implies the Aunt Jennifer's tigers, their land, are more vital. They enjoy a sense of freedom. This is the most important word here. Freedom, which is greater than her. The tiger, they are the symbol of freedom, and Aunt Jennifer did not have. So they pace, prance freely. These are the symbols. These are the qualities. Proudly, fearless, confident, majestic, and they were fearless even of men. The yellow color, it connote the sun and fierce energy. Green remind us one of the spring and vitality. These all are the symbols. Embroidery, symbol of creative expression. An artless work which was done by Aunt Jennifer because it was the desire of her. She becomes her escape and oppressive reality of life. In that way, there are so many symbols. Aunt Jennifer in the last stanza. As opposed to Aunt Jennifer, it is completely opposed. It shows that she has lost her identity completely, thus lost even her name. Metaphor, ring with ordeals, even death would not free her as wedding band. It is a symbol of oppression. And last one is transferred epithet. This is terrified tigers. Is that clear? I hope this is going to be beneficial now for you. So I hope this poem is now clear to everybody. Take care.